So in today's headlines, we actually have two stories from Apple that we're going to go ahead and cover. Now, I mentioned Apple being innovative. Yeah, you're saying, okay, Tyler, what exactly are they doing? Well, they're becoming, well, kind of cool with a built-in inductive charging for the iPad. So you're saying, well, what the hell does that actually mean? Essentially means that you're going to be able to have your iPad charged up pretty much anywhere you go unless it's the beach. So what I'm saying right now is that the inductive charger is pretty freaking cool. They just filed a patent. Now this right here is on patentlyapple.com, and they have acquired the patent from Apple themselves. I highly advise you to take a look at this article because it gives you exactly what you need to know about how this thing is going to be put together and how it actually works. But what's interesting about this is that it doesn't necessarily, the cover doesn't have to be connected directly to the iPad at all points in time for it to actually be charging. It can actually be relatively close to an outlet or something along those lines to actually get some sort of power source. What's very cool about this is the fact, bottom line, Apple is taking the next step, and they are the ones that are going to be making the moves to this inductive charging unit. Now, also, something to note, there's no rhyme or reason to, or excuse me, no set release date. There is no talk about that. The patent was literally filed today, so that's one thing to actually keep in the back of your mind. There's no set release date for this to actually happen, but it's got to get your jollies going, boys and girls. And you got to be excited to think that something like this is going to be right around the corner, and to see that they are, of course, the first company to be doing this. There's really no surprise there. Meanwhile, let's move on to Google. So what I want to talk about Google is the Google Reader. Now, it's something that we use here quite often and quite frequently on the Pulse Network. It's also something that a lot of people use. Or do they? Apparently not so, because in the second round of spring cleaning, as they call it from Google, well, guess what? It's another one of those things that is going to be falling by the wayside indeed. Yes, Google Reader is going to be cut. It's going to be on the list of projects to be canceled for the second round of spring cleaning. What's interesting about this, during the second round, Google will have killed 70 projects this year alone. It must be nice to have that many projects going on to begin with, but think about how much money was spent on some of these projects. But yes, it is in fact going to be effective come July 1st. So people can go ahead and you can use it right up until then. But you know what? You might want to find something new, because it's going to be bye-bye. You might want to think about something else. Okay, moving on. The next thing we want to talk about is Apple once again. This time we're talking about Apple and we're talking about Maps. So you guys remember what took place when, well, the update came and iOS 6 came out and everybody was taking a look at, okay, well, why don't I have Google Maps on here? What's this iMaps thing going on? Well, guess what? It's starting to get a little bit better. Very slowly, but it is getting a little bit better. I myself have actually seen some upgrades to it over the course of the last couple of months, but they have made improvements, and if you notice, there hasn't been as much whining and complaining about it. People are still utilizing it, and, well, it is getting better. Some of the improvements include the 3D view, as well as, well, accuracy, to be frank. They have made several improvements to the accuracy scores, as well as the 3D models. So what I mean by that is the fact that typically, before, you had just your plain 2D image and it would tell you how to get from point A to point B. But now they are in fact going to be implementing some of the 3D functionality to it, so you can see exactly where you are. If you're looking at buildings and you're looking at different spots, you can tell, all right, well, I am in the right place at the right time. So people can be happy about this. Now there's no sign in telling us, well, is there ever going to be some sort of happiness between Google as well as Apple as far as Google Maps is concerned? But if they continue to make improvements and they continue to make strides going forward, maybe we won't have to worry about that discussion as much. So those, my friends, are your headlines, but it's time.